Hello viewers, Super GT here, once again, fresh karting content for you. Don't you love some fresh karting content? I hope you do. You probably do, because you clicked the video. But anyway, we're here. Wilton Mill for a beautiful sunny day. We did the endurance race the day before. But here we are for the sprints. Now, something you have to work out in your first sprint race at least. You don't really get time in your second and third ones. You have to work out if your car is any good. And I decided quite quickly here that I think my car wasn't quite on it for this first race. So over the course of this video, you're going to see 3 heats. And I'll start one at the front, one at the back, and one in the middle. And it all averages out very nicely. So I changed my car there, moving over all my weight and everything. Checking all the pedals, so you can change the pedals to how far away they are. So I have it on the furthest setting because I'm a little over 6 foot. And we pull out onto the track, try to warm this car up as quickly as possible with those insane tyre warming skills that I have. But here we go then, starting this race in 10th on the grid out of, I think it's 16 player game here, 16 player co-op here at Wilton Mill. Let's do it then. Barging this guy up in front of us. You have to stay kind of within those yellow lines roughly. Through turn 1, through turn 2, up the inside, 3 positions gain. And once again, we're going to cut to the brilliant Alpha Live footage. Thank you very much for the great camera work. As we get overtaken there, as I went up the inside that guy, and the space kind of just, as Martin Brundle would say, it was a disappearing wedge. I was never quite really going to get that move, and I lost quite a lot of time out of that. I lost momentum and moved down to 9th. Okay, so I did go up 3, and then I lost 1 again, or I lost 2 again. Wait, I started 10th, went up 3, or went up 2. I can't even remember, something along those lines. But I'm sitting in 9th, so I've only gained 1. I've got a net gain of 1 at this point. Coming to the final corner, and this is where Moses comes into effect, right? Moses, the big man above, right? He's looking down upon me right now, favourably. I've used the Moses card quite early here. There's only a certain amount of deployments per meeting, per race, and I use it again here, and boom, out they go. Gain another 2 places, and you see it's all kicking off behind me. So that race, well, the first lap went really average, just gained 1 position, and then lap 2 gained 4 in basically 2 corners. So cheers Moses, you're a top lad, thank you once again. So up into 5th, 8 laps, so we still have 6 to go after this one. And the group of 4 for the lead is right in front of us. So is it going to be possible to win this race? It may well be, but we'll see. Through the final corner, massive mountain of a curve on the inside. Don't want to touch it at all. Avoid that one at all costs. Up behind Harrison Darville. Are we close enough to go for this move up into Christmas corner? I don't think we are. Look at that group though. Connor Jupp go for the move. Up gets Tim Hill. And he is going to get the job done, although he's all over the grass as Tim Hill, and just going to come back ahead of him as he rejoins the track. And that actually, quite interestingly, is the father of a certain Mr. Game of Thrones character who ended up as king of the Iron Throne at the end of the whole thing. Quite interestingly. So we go past Harrison Darville there, get the move done. Taking a look over the shoulder to make sure he's not going to come back at me. Up to 3rd at this point in the race. Can we get that lead? Connor Jupp in the lead. So he's actually quickly built a margin in the lead. So I'm going to try to get past this guy in 2nd as quickly as possible, and then try to hunt down the leader. And we get a good run through the 2nd corner, up in towards Christmas corner, tucking in for maximum DRS, and then go for the move. There we go, job done. Up into 2nd. Can we go for the race win? We still have more than half of the race to go, but the leader here has already built up about a 2nd, or maybe just under a 2nd. I can't quite tell, maybe about a 2nd. I think that gap is there. So I need to gain a couple of attempts at least per lap And now that the race has settled down, that does become a lot harder. I think when there's chaos and insanity going on the first couple of laps, it can be a lot easier to gain on people. But when someone's on their own out the front, it can be a little bit tougher as they kind of just get their head down and start pulling away. Let's see what we can do here then. Through turn 1, through turn 2, up the back straight towards Christmas corner. And we're going to try to reel him in as quickly as we can. I think I was good through Christmas corner, as I feel as though I've just gained slightly through that section of the track. But still, of course, plenty of work still to be done. And of course, this is only heat 1 of 3, so 2 more to go. Although this is going fairly well so far. Started in 10th. Up into 2nd, even if we were to finish here, that would not be too bad a result. But of course, we want to go for those wins, if at all possible. And I think it is possible. Although on that lap, I'm not sure I've really gained too much. Although he does clatter the curb, and you can just see how much I can gain through this little section here as he just kind of loses speed up the main straight through turn 1 and 2. So I've definitely gained there as he clattered that curb and must have lost a couple of attempts. And yes, that was a fast forward. We're now on lap 8. So the gap came right down. So I think he made a big mistake somewhere else on the lap. And by the final lap now, the pressure might be on. But we'll see if he can cope with it, as we have just about half a lap left to go. So I did begin to catch him up. He wasn't quite on it on this race, although he is in the lead, so he is on it, I suppose. He's in exactly the position he needs to be, and you can't argue with that. Even if, sometimes you have races where you're not quite the quickest, but you still win it, and who cares if you're not the quickest? It's all about winning, ultimately, and he does that. Connor wins, finish in 2nd, not too bad a result. I'll take that from 10th on the grid, especially after lap 1, which really didn't go too well. Quick thumbs up, he drove well, fair play to him.
Well, mate, great drive. So don't forget, if you're sharing a transponder, you need to return it in the boxes, please. Well done, mate.
Sorry? I was beaten up at the start.
Ah, okay.
Okay, that was heat 1. We move on to heat number 2. Well, the first heat was actually officially heat 1. This is officially heat 7. So there's like 12 heats, but you're not in all of them. You're in 3 of them. But this time, this is our front start. So ideally, it's going to be your easiest race. Starting from pole position. But we'll see if that actually happens as we get across the line. Starting the race underway, we begin 8 laps of racing. Pole position again, as we say, just trying to keep that pole position as best we can at the start of the race. But we are closely followed by Mr. Craig Brown, no relation, just happen to have the same surname, which gets things a little bit confusing in the commentary box, I would imagine. But so far on lap number 1, we've done a decent enough job to stay in the lead of the race. As again, you can see Craig Brown just behind, very, very close in attention. So this most certainly is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Can't start thinking that I've got this easy. A lot of the time, from pole position, you can build a gap very quickly, and sometimes you can almost win the race on lap 1 because you build such a gap so quickly, and people can't really catch up to you because they start fighting too early, things like that. But here, that is not happening. I did actually have a race with Craig Brown at Walter Mill early this year, And I think it was a very similar scenario where I was in first, he was in second, and I did on that occasion manage to drive away. But that isn't happening here, so it's going to be a little bit of a tougher race. And you know, sometimes I find it easier to be behind and then to overtake. And sometimes being in the lead is actually pretty tricky because you can't gauge your opponent. You don't know where they're good, you don't know where they're weak. Whereas if you're behind the other person, you can kind of sit behind them for a while, just see what they're doing, see where they're good, see where they're slow, and then overtake them, and then you know everything about them. But here, I'm in the lead still, and I just have to deal with it, I suppose. That's the way it is. You have the advantage, I suppose. Can't complain too much. You have the advantage of being in the lead, which is quite a useful thing. In motorsport, it's better to be in the lead than any other position. Yeah, top fact for you there, just in case you didn't know. Down into the Ashby hairpin, still in the lead, lap 3 of 8. So fairly quick fire races. In case you're wondering what the lap times are around here, a quick lap time would be, well, on this day a quick lap was a mid 53 or a high 53. Actually no, I'm joking there, I'm telling a lie. A low 53 was a quick lap, and a very high 52 if you're properly on it, but most of the time it was a low 53 or a mid 53 in terms of lap time. 53 seconds that is, of course, not minutes, not that slow. So lap number 4 here, and still in the lead. Craig Brown not opting to go for an overtake just yet, so he is still there. I'm looking over my shoulder just to make sure I know exactly where he is. Of course we don't have rear view mirrors. I don't think it would be the safest option. You see there, Craig Brown just looking up the inside, didn't go for it though. Wasn't the best overtaking opportunity, but he's just kind of showing that he is intent on possibly going for this move. He's in this race. This is not a race where I'm just driving off and leaving everyone. He is there, and he most certainly wants to be part of it. And as we cross the line to begin lap 5, half of the race done, through turn 1 and 2, onto the back straight again, having a look over my shoulder, another look, and I go defensive, move back over, and then I move back over too early, slightly too early, and he puts his finger out there. I'm not sure what that was, and maybe a little celebration, because it was a fantastic move, I'll give him that. Very defensive into Ashby. It's going to give me a run on the exit, but I just back out and let him go ahead. So now it's kind of roles reversed. Craig Brown in the lead, Steve Brown in second. I'm going to follow him for a few laps and just see where he's strong, where he's weak, and try to go for that return overtake and win this race. So it's pretty weird sometimes, you know, I started 10th and then I finished second, and then I start first and then I might finish second. So it's kind of weird how that works sometimes, but the momentum of different races, you get different people in different races, so things aren't the same at all. So we very much have a formidable opponent here who is posing us some trouble and is not making things easy. And again, he went slightly defensive into Christmas, and he goes very defensive there, quite close. I think there might have been a bit of a contact, but he's most certainly defending very well. There's no way past. This is a good overtaking opportunity here. It catches most people off guard, but he just covered it off slightly. And with 2 laps still to go, you don't want to risk a silly move and ruin it for the pair of you. So sometimes it is best just to stay behind. Remember, a championship is a long thing. Sometimes it's not best to just go for silly moves, risk penalties, risk exclusions, send people to the shadow realm unnecessarily. You have to send the right people to the realm, not the wrong people. As we come up the back straight, we're going to go defensive. We're going to try the outside. It's not quite going to work, but it is an indication of things to come maybe on the last lap. So we've seen that we can force him to go very narrow. Again, he goes very narrow. The defence is very, very strong indeed. As you come up into the infield section, again, can I force him into a mistake that he doesn't, or force him to defend when he doesn't need to defend, or just put him out of position, just try to get him to go to the wrong side of the track and defend and make him have a poor exit out of one of the corners. This is what we're resorting to now. Here there's a potential overtake, wasn't quite on the exit. You can go for the cutback there quite often. Wasn't available, but here we go then. 1 lap left to go in the race. Is it possible to regain this position as we come out onto the back straight, right on his tail, and basically pushing him up the straight? I'm going to keep him to the right hand side of the track, force him to the right, swing out to the left, and around the outside we go, and we're just going to keep the position here, or we're just going to gain the position, and then side by side through Inkermans, and then downhill into Ashby, and I'm just going to run him narrow and make sure he backs out, and he does, up into the lead of the race with a sensational outside overtake. Job done. But now Anwar's joined the battle, so this is a 3-way fight, so it was a good job that I managed to get the overtake done nice and early there on the lap before Anwar got in the fight. Didn't want to risk being overtaken again. Mike went down to 3rd. Slight defensive line through the last corners here, just keeping the position. And you see that Anwar actually up the inside of Craig. So Craig Brown is going to be kicking himself down from 1st to 3rd on the final lap and losing a place on the final turn off the lap. But there we go. Wow, what an overtake, what a race. Brilliant racing between the pair of us. I'm really happy to have just come out in the lead with it. And just really happy to have come out in the lead.
Unlucky, I thought you had it. No, no. I thought you had it.
What a man. Oh, Jesus.
Okay then, we move to the final race of 3, and this one is the back start, so starting 15th out of 16, and immediately past Costa, the Greek god of speed, through turn 1, and then up towards Christmas corner in the meat of the sandwich. There is someone on the right hand side. Look at this guy in the white suit, and he actually spins out on the apex, and I actually gain out of that. This guy goes a little bit slow through there, and I'm just going to get the inside line. He actually breaks pretty late, but I'm just going to take the apex, run him out wide, and take 11th place, 15th to 11th, 4 positions gained so far. Can we gain any more? Well, hopefully should be able to. If I can't gain any more here with 7.5 laps left to go, then something has gone horrifically wrong. So I'm going to force this guy to go for an inside line. Can we go for the cutback on the way out of the turn? It almost works. That does work if the guy ahead goes for too wide a line going into the boot. Cut them back on the way out. Up the inside of this guy. Took the apex nice and early, and then this guy goes very, very deep out of the exit of turn 2, opens up the inside into Christmas corner, and we're going to seize the opportunity to go up into 9th. So immediately on the tail of the next car, look at this move, lay on the brakes, move out, boom, job done. That is a savage overtake. Amazing stuff. Up into 8th. We are halfway up the order, and the pack ahead is not too far away, and they're fairly closely bunched. The guy ahead takes a horrible line, gets all sorts of sideways, and I'm going to get the run on him into the boot and get the job done, taking 7th place in the race. And again, the pack ahead very, very close, so there's still potential here to gain a few more positions. Ideally, if we can get on the podium, that would be amazing on this final heat. We've had a first, we've had a second, or we've had a second and a first. Can we top it off with another very good result here in the final of 3 heats, which then determine our position for the final, which you'll see in a following video. So of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, then do consider hitting subscribe, although only consider hitting it if you actually genuinely want to. You know, I'm not forcing you. In fact, well, I might actually force you. I might actually come to your house and put a gun to your head, but until then, just think about it. Okay, up behind Harrison Darville. Can we get past him here? No, not quite. We're right on this tail end of this pack, but the space does open up, and I'm on the inside, and he just backs out. It was going to be a hairy moment, that, because I wasn't completely alongside, but I'm sure he must have been aware that I was there, and he decided to back out and That helps me, of course, moving up into my favourite position of 6th. But we can go a couple better here through Christmas corner. Beautiful corner as it's kind of banked in your favour. And you can really go through there very quickly, carry a lot of speed. Now up behind Alex Pritchard, he makes a mistake here of committing to the right hand side, and it just opens up the left, going into a left, and I'm going to take that position quite comfortably. Right on the tail of this guy, boom, instant overtake, 2 overtakes and 2 corners, nicely done up into 4th. So fast progress being made here. Looking back behind, so when you go for an overtake, you're on the back foot normally coming out because you don't get as good an exit by taking the non-optimal line, aka the overtaking line. So you can get a slower exit, puts you on the back foot. You might have to defend for the next corner after an overtake. But on this occasion, we successfully defend our place, and now we can turn our attention to attacking the guy ahead in the slipstream. Human DRS, not quite going to work into this corner. Not quite close enough. But is it going to be on? Coming down the hill into Ashby corner. We made it work a couple of laps ago, and not quite going to go for it on this occasion. I'm going to bide our time here. The leader is a good 3 or 4 seconds ahead, although now the space does open up. We're going to go for that move. There it is, up into 3rd place. The leader a couple of seconds ahead, Adam Wright. So realistically, we're only looking at a 2nd place here at best. I think that gap is too big now. In only a race of 8 laps, it's going to be very difficult, I think, with 3 laps to go, to get past 2nd, and then really in about 5 seconds it's virtually impossible. It's just not going to happen. So we're going to really fight for this 2nd place now. 3 laps to go, lap 6 of 8 through turn 2. Firmly in the slipstream of this guy. Let's see how he defends. I'm not sure how he's gonna go for this one, but he does defend. So some people do defend, some people don't. You know, you're coming up against different people all the time, and it's up to you to learn what they do. This guy is very intent on defending, and you can normally tell by the amount of times they look over their shoulder. The more they look over their shoulder, the more intent they are on defending. I looked over my shoulder there just to make sure I have a bit of a gap. So as soon as the guy ahead starts defending, you're going to start losing time. So I just need to make sure I know how close the guys are behind. So I want to ideally get this move done before the people behind start catching, because then I'm under threat from being overtaken myself. You don't want to leave it too late. As we come through the final corner, you can see here that Alex Pritchard, who we went past a couple of laps ago, actually is really reeling us in now. Such is the amount we are defending, and therefore losing time. So he actually goes defensive, looks over his shoulder again, but still leaves crucially the space on the inside. And I'm going to go completely full send up the inside, 100% committed, and it's job done up into 2nd place. And he gets overtaken at the next corner as well. And I must tell you, that's a heartbreaking feeling when you lose one position and then lose one immediately after. You just wonder what might have been if my defending was a little bit better. But on this occasion, it wasn't better. It was exactly what it was. So I'm up to 2nd, and there's basically no chance of catching the leader, who's about 5 seconds ahead. So from here on to the end, it's a case of just trying to bring the car home and make sure we don't do anything really silly. So through the first couple of corners, flying through here, we have a nice margin now to the guys behind who started fighting slightly. And that is going to be that, up into Christmas corner for the last time in the race. Beautiful corner that, you want to get your kind of inside lines just to graze the curb. And you're good through there, down the hill into Ashby. Hard braking point that as you are downhill, and then making the most of the concrete runoff on the exit. And then downhill through this corner, and making the most of the tarmac runoff once again. Sweeping left onto the back straight. And it looks like we are in a safe position here, not even bothering to look over our shoulder, because I just know that we do have that margin. So it's going to be Adam Wright with the victory in this one. They're going to come through 2nd. So the 3 races you've seen in the video: 2nd, 1st, 2nd. So do join me for the next video. You'll see the finals in action, and let me tell you, the races were absolutely amazing. You do not want to miss them. So that is it from me today. Thank you so much for watching as always, and let me know your thoughts and your questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you there. Goodbye.
Right, corners. Please make sure you return them in the boxes for me. And we are now to heat number 11 for the heavies. We have a driver missing. Guy starting 8th is not here. So everyone from 9th place
Stephen
down.
Netting, I need you on the scales.
Everyone from 9th place down. Move that one position in this next race. So heat 11 for the heavyweights.
Steve, good drive, Steve.
Well done, mate.
Good on, Steve.
Take a breath, Steve. Take a breath, bro. Take a breath. Everybody breathe.